Okay, well, what about single string stuff, like actual picking sort of things? Well, if you want to do that, really the only rule there is once again, try to avoid stuff like big slides. And just sort of, you can find yourself a little pocket of notes that you like. So all of that is what's called a pentatonic minor scale, something that you need to know anyway. And the way we play this scale in the key of C is, there's a lot of ways to play it, but I'll show you this one position. And that's at the 6th fret with the A and B pedals. We can play the 1st string, the 4th string, the 5th string with the A pedal, the 5th string without the A pedal, the 6th string with the B pedal, and then the root note happens here on the 7th string. That's the note of C. And here's a really cool little fact about this particular scale. If we were playing through our song here and our song was going 1, 4, 5, and we played that little scale over the top of it, that's what it sounds like over the 1 chord. Now here's the 4 chord. We'll play the exact same thing. Still worked, didn't it? We didn't have to chase the changes around. We can stay in that same little pocket of notes and everything still works. Well, here's the 5 chord. Here's our same little scale. And it all still worked. So that's some real kind of fundamental ideas of the organ type thing. Now, I said earlier that we didn't necessarily want to do the slide thing too much. However, if we do employ the slides, it's not going to sound so much like the organ, except sometimes organ players do this big glist thing where they'll take their palm of their hand and run it across the keyboard. Piano players and organ players both do that. So we could sort of emulate that kind of thing with a slide. And the way we might do that is if we started down here on the 1st fret and played our 1/7 chord. Now, if we ran that real quick up the neck, kind of thing. So, and that's one way we can employ the slides and it still be somewhat like an organ. Now, over here on my effects, this particular patch is the one that I use almost all the time, but I did build another one, and the only difference between this patch and the one I've been using is that I went inside the parameters there and it gave me the option of turning up the frequencies that are an octave higher. And this creates a little bit more of a jazz organ effect, and it's a little it's pretty aggressive, so I don't use this one very much, but here's what the first one sounded like. Here's what the jazzier one sounds like. And the only difference is that those, if you were playing an actual organ, the organ has these mechanisms called drawbars, and you pull those drawbars out to turn up those higher range frequencies. So I just built myself a patch that is emulating pulling out some of those upper registers of the drawbars. So if I were playing some kind of jazz tune, I could use this patch. But that one is pretty in your face, so I don't necessarily use that all that often. Another thing you can do, if you'd like, is to play, I went back to the original patch. If you add some harmonics in with this, I did a palm harmonic here at the 13th fret. Sometimes I'm hitting that, sometimes I'm not, and I'm not particularly concerned about whether I do or I don't. But any of those kind of ideas sort of emulate what the drawbars do on the organ as far as pulling out those upper register frequencies. Well, I hope this has given you a little bit of insight into how I approach fake organ on the pedal steel guitar. I hope you all stay organized today, and happy practicing.